two. And there's the chance and there's the goal. Tim Cahill. Cahill! Tim Cahill has done it again! Tim Cahill has done it! Would you believe it?
Tim, thanks for joining us on World Football News. There's a big debate about club versus country, and even more so for players like us who come back from Europe to Australia, massive flight. Is it ever in the back of your mind that you might lose your spot in the Premier League?
I think the good thing with me is I make sure that my manager knows from the start that I love playing for my country. He was here, I brought Everton to Australia with him, and he realised how much the community and everything means to me. So he understood the flight, and it was probably the first time where he's ever really given me a pat on the back and he said, fair play to you, because some of the lads probably took 4 days to get over.
And what about the Asia Cup now? How big of a competition is that for us now?
It's massive in the factor that we've got a chance, respectively saying, to win something potentially. It could be the biggest tournaments of some players' lives. So come the time, it's going to be really difficult, club v country, and it's something that we'll have to assess when we get there.
Well, how's your form at the moment? Obviously, you've had a fantastic career already at Everton.
Mate, I'm buzzing. I think the biggest thing is consistency of football. I've only played 6 games this season. I've got my goals. I'm playing well enough, and I concentrate game by game. Injuries are just manageability. I don't focus too much on the drama of injuries. I think the biggest thing is everyone around football will focus on that issue. I had a knock against Man U. And I missed 2 games, but the thing is, it's always trying to make sure your body's ready for that weekend. And if you don't play with a bit of pain, then you're never going to be out there.
Alan Shearer, we had an interview with him. He mentioned your ability in the air. How is it when you hear someone like Shearer, who's an absolute legend of the game? How does that make you feel?
No, it's unbelievable. I think a lot of people focus on that part of my game, and it's something that from training hard and working hard is a massive plus for me. But he's someone I've looked up to, and he knows basically how much I think of him as well, because when we played against Newcastle, I nudged him on a corner 5 minutes to go and asked him for his top, because I knew that he'd be retiring soon and that I probably would never get the chance to get his top again. So that's a massive thing for someone like that to say, especially about me, but hopefully I can continue on doing it.
Did you get his top?
Of course I did.
What's the differences that you've noticed since you first came into the Socceroos?
When I first come into the Australian team, I was only a young pup, and all that mattered for me was being a part of the squad. Didn't matter whether I was on the bench or, clean boots at Millwall, or, just watching when I was in camp with the Australian team. Coming in the Australian team, you had some really strong role models. Obviously you were part of it, but with Maury, Muskie, Aloisi, Popper, Spider, really strong characters who you thought to yourself got the team by the scruff of the neck in adversities and in hard times, and made us youngsters learn the hard way. Train harder, being really critical, and I think it helped me become a better player. And if I scored a goal, it was like, well done, you scored a goal, so what? You have to do it again next week. And I think that's what's made me better. To compare it now to what it's like now, I think it's probably easier for players to come in, because we're more, I suppose, we're trying to help the A-League, help things, help progress, help. And not to say the other lads did, but in the olden days, the way it was before, that's the way it was.
Do you watch the A-League a lot, and have you been following a lot of the developments? Obviously a lot of people talking about crowds, talking about some of the clubs having financial difficulty. How do you think it's going at the moment, and how much will be reading into these problems?
I don't focus on the problems. I focus on the league players, the stars coming through. There's a lot of focus on Sydney FC. I was speaking to Broski the other day and saying, Everton were in a bit of a rut. Thing is, you can play great football. I said the only way of probably getting out of it is just being the ugly team. Instead of playing nice football, just get the result. Do everything you got to win, and that's how we turned it around. But with the financial difficulties, what the FFA are doing to having to make sure that the league is still being sustained, it's difficult, because you've got a World Cup bid, you've got focal points in the teams where there's probably a lot of economic crisis with money, and it's hard for teams to stay afloat, and it's hard for the fans to get out all the time and pay money, because it's you got families that have got 3 kids, and it becomes an expense. But I think the positive thing is to make sure that that we stay behind it. It's still a great league. It's on television. These guys get paid great money. They're heroes of the players, and it's a great code. And I know that fans deep down inside want to support it.
Beautiful. Now a bit of fun just to finish off, huh? So
Why
just
not,
some
mate?
quick fire questions. Huh? All right, who's your best friend in football?
Mikel Arteta, Lucas Neal.
Lucas, now do you room with him at Socceroos?
Yeah.
Yeah. Worst dresser?
Carney's improved as well. What are you going like that for?
Oh, no. I thought I would have said Carney as well. So.
No, he's not bad. He's getting better. Sorry, Carnes.
Who was your football hero growing up?
Marco van Basten. In Australia, Craig Johnson, Charlie Yankos.
Best player that you've come up against?
Roy Keane.
Your second favourite Premier League team after Everton?
Man United.
First result you look at after the game?
Liverpool.
Music that you listen to on the long flights over?
Easy listening, R&B, just not heavy metal stuff that you like.
No, I'm out of that phase. Favourite book, magazine? Newspaper?
Autobiographies, Muhammad Ali, stuff like that, yeah.
Favourite movie?
Nemo.
Strangest place you've ever woken up?
Hospital,
Oh.
after knee injury.
Boardies or speedos? Speedos, right?
Nah, boardies. Well,
Boardies.
you like boardies or speedos?
Both.
I like them. You really like boardies.
Who'd you have a crush on as a kid?
Kylie Minogue, Neighbours. I was only a kid.
Most famous person you've met?
Giorgio Armani.
Who would you like to meet?
Muhammad Ali. I've seen him, but I've not met him.
Okay. And if you weren't a footballer, what would you be?
Acting. I'd want to try acting, drama.
Beautiful. Timmy, thanks for joining us for World Football News.
Cheers, Thanks, mate. Cheers.
Cheers.
You wear speedos.
Huh?